this opening. It's not that theoretical, and you get your pieces out and play a game, which seems like the approach. But we've seen this very position in his game against Magnus, no? D6.
Yeah, that's exactly what he had against Magnus. But now he goes
Magnus
D5.
moved the bishop first, and then it was D6, and then A3, I believe.
Yeah, but now he goes D5, which is interesting.
Especially against A3, that makes sense.
I mean, he did lose that game, but it wasn't because of the opening. So I'm not sure why he's suddenly swapping. And
what I'm saying is Magnus didn't play A3. He went bishop E2.
H3, D5, Queen B3. What is going on?
Karjakin has preparation in this line. Can you take everything and then do something Grunfeldy, like takes, C5, DC, knight D7, whatever?
I'm looking at the immediate C5, DC, knight D7, but I'm not sure it's correct. And Sergey goes for, I mean, MVL goes for something more responsible with E7, E6 here.
Just one thing to clarify with the chat. I did not declare be nice to Pramod Day today. Just so we're clear.
I have no idea what Sergey is doing here.
No, black looks slightly better, no?
Well, takes, bishop C4.
takes.
I mean, I don't think...
Bishop C4, no.
Yeah, I guess that's the point, but I'm still not entirely sure why this is so great for white. But maybe it's just fine. If the pawn was still on b7, you'd just take on f3, play like c6, and I mean, if you were in time to not lose the b7 pawn. But with the pawn on b6, you don't really want to take on f3, I think, because the positional threat of this bishop landing on a6 and your queenside being under constant pressure is annoying. Although maybe takes
considered knight c6, knight
I don't know, maybe takes and the immediate knight d7 followed by c5 might be fast enough. But if you kind of need to be extremely fast immediately, because otherwise you will get into trouble against those bishops.
You have to sacrifice an exchange. Takes, knight d7, bishop b5, c5, bishop c6. That's probably good for you. Bishop b7, whatever, cd.
Yeah, maybe. He does take on f3, and yeah, it's interesting. Yeah, knight goes to d7, not to c6. I thought that was maybe the likelier route. You can go with rook d1 here, for instance, to stop, at least for the time being, probably stop both e5 and c5.
And then queen e7 you want to take?
Queen e7 I might actually take, although yeah, after knight c5 black probably has enough compensation for a draw. But something needs to be done about those pawn breaks.
Pramod is confused by the word fianchetto, which is Italian for ice cream, but in chess we use it for... that's a lie. I tend to lie a lot to Pramod. In chess we use it for putting a bishop in this little pocket in front of your castled king on g7 or b7.
I'm sure Pramod knows that. He was asking for literal meaning of the Italian word, and I used to know, but I no longer remember somehow. It's weird.
Yeah.
It was explained to me at some point what the word means. And yeah, Sergey just castles, allowing both c5 and d5.
True believer in the bishops. d5 or
yeah, of course d5. Yeah. I mean, I'll be stunned if... But again, I mean, it does lock out your other bishop, potentially.
e5, no?
Yeah, but I still would go d5 here. Just don't like d takes c5. So it's too bland. Unless he figures he really needs not to lose this game, and that is more important than trying to win it, and then he might go for a drier position with dc5. But I think objectively you need to go d5.
David Cortese, which sounds half Italian. Davide Cortese says, in Italian, fianco means flank. So fianchetto means flanco? e5 and queen f6 has been played. King
Bishop
g2.
b5. Yeah, I'm wondering.
Is the queen going here?
Yeah, the queen probably is going to d6. So that probably means why he explains why he didn't play bishop b5 here.
Now we want to go a6 at some point. This bishop
yeah, at some point it probably should happen. And yeah, the bishop on g3 is very, very awkward. So maybe I should try and backpedal on my assertion that d5 is much stronger than...
And we're closing in on the fianchetto definition. It means small flank. It's true. Chess analyst is a born Italian.
Okay.
Unless he's just a born Juco piano player. Juco piano, sorry for mispronouncing, means slow play?
Quiet
play?
Quiet play, I think.
Pianissimo.
Magnus played a very interesting game. I feel like, I mean, our choice of game was justified, but they're letting us down a little bit.
Let's switch to Magnus. If you let us down, we will jump on the World Champions bandwagon, especially since he's playing the very soft with G4.
Yeah, that's a very drastic approach, and Hikaru played Bishop F5 instead of E6. I guess maybe not to allow this in round 1 of this tournament, but yeah, in this game, yeah, I'm sure this is not a refutation of, you know, Black's opening, but it did become extremely sharp, extremely fast, and then Magnus, I guess, just outcalculated.
Looks very fun.
Yeah, takes, rook G1, F6, Bishop F4, yeah, it's a complete mess, who knows what's going on. But then, somewhere around here, it still feels completely unclear to me, but Fabi goes for a very concrete continuation.
Brave.
Yeah, probably missing rook D1 followed by...
I'm
not sure about. I'm not
think.
sure Bishop B7 was required, but he does seem to be completely
What
lost.
if King C8 here? I understand we can repeat moves, but I don't think it's worried about that.
Well, maybe just take on B7. But it seems like a better shot than what he's done in the game.
Check, knight D1. It's still dangerous. He lost already.
Yeah,
it seems like. Yeah.
This game is over, and actually the MVL game has livened up considerably. So they stopped letting us down.
So Magnus has what now? 7 out of 8?
I think so. Yeah.
He likes crushing the field. And
he drew the first 2, right, and then won 6 in a row, seemingly.
I do recall that last year I think he had 7.5 out of 8. Then he lost to Anish in the last round.
Yeah, he was not very happy about that. And something very strange happened in that game. We should probably auto-update again, yeah?
Alright. What's happening?
Well, at some point MVL just allowed the C-pawn to, the D-pawn at that point to queen by doing... Maybe he just missed the D takes C6 as a legal move. That would be my feeling.
Very possible.
But then he found this Bishop A1, Rook B1 idea, which is fantastic. And,
ooh, countermate.
And in this position he even went...
He had a perpetual? No.
I'm not sure. Maybe he didn't have the perpetual.
What I'm saying is here after.
No, you'll have the E1 square, so once the king gets to E2, it's completely safe.
Now, what the H? And by H, I mean heck. I'm not going to use the word hell on this program. Is going on.
You have to assume white is winning.
You get checkmated somewhere.
Yeah, you will. You will at some
E5
point get checkmated here, I think.
EF? Oh, I like E5.
E5 you probably...
F1,
yeah, you need the E4 square. You need the E4 square, and I think you need to take on F5. I think everything is completely... yeah.
Just so your king runs.
Yeah, and the king runs towards D5, and the king on G7 is just a lot less safe than the king on D5 and C6, and wherever it is, it will end up. Yeah, and I like king C6 to sidestep all the checks. And now you can
do the luxury version.
And now you can start concentrating on giving mate to the opposing king. F5 is good, E4 probably is also quite decent, but yeah, F5. Start pushing. Black needs to play C4, but queen E7 followed by F6 probably is mate. And yeah, now bishop F6. Bishop F6 probably was mate in 3 or something, but F6 probably also wins.
King F7, Queen G7,
and Queen E7.
Queen E7.
Yeah. So Sergey beats MVL. What does that do for the standings?
Let's ask the standings. Mr. Standings. Anna Magnus says 6.5. We must have missed some half feet.
Yeah,
against Levon, he probably drew.
Yeah. He drew some game somewhere. Okay, it's very tense because the 3 people up top are in. Magnus, Lev, and Hikaru. Hikaru had a bit of a spurt and went from -1 to what is currently a very comfortable +2. But MVL, on the other hand, had a bit of a rough period, and he is now back on 50%, tied with Wesley, and I assume that's it, yeah? The rest of the field is in the minus.
Yeah, Kramnik and Vachier in the minus, but with
Okay,
the last
so what
round
do we
win,
have?
they could
Yeah,
still
let's have a look at the pairings. What do we have for last round? MVL plays Anish, who is at the very bottom of the standings with white. So MVL will feel... But the thing is, he probably needs to win to be sure. And Wesley is playing Magnus, which is not an easy pairing, as we all know.
Hikaru, by the way, after you wrote him off, now he is 5 out of 8.
Did I write him off?
Yes, he said he's not going to qualify.
I did not say that.
No, probably not.
So those two are very likely going to be decisive for the fate of the remaining spot.
Which ones are that? Kramnik against Karjakin?
So Carlsen and MVL against Giri.
Why not Kramnik Karjakin?
Kramnik Karjakin is also important, obviously, because if Kramnik wins, he actually catches up with Karjakin and whoever it is that will